Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. I'm happy to see everybody. I hope you are happy to see me. Team Replay as well. Thank you so much for coming in. Click the like button. Subscribe if you are not already a subscriber. I already have the banner running. The banner just says everything is in my opinion. It is alleged. It's my personal opinion. It's copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching. I can't see the rest of it, but you see the banner underneath. Let me make sure. There it is. I started the banner going again. And I will start comments on the side, and then also I'll preview certain ones. I'll show them on stage until if I get to a point where I get to show a scene from Real Housewives of Miami, I'll do that. This is the Real Housewives of Miami. It's a recap. It's a slight rant. We're in season 7. We have episode 5. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me. And this is, again, Real Housewives of Miami, Miami Goddesses. They get this title from Alexia is having this, it looked like a toga party, actually, with the certain sororities, not us, used to have in college. I didn't pledge a sorority, but you know the sororities that I mean. They would wrap that white around them and have the Greek themed parties. But this is what Alexia is doing. She wants to figure out how to get over a narcissist. She feels like she was married to a narcissist. And well, she still is. She and Todd are still going through that divorce. And we found out last week, her and Todd asked for an extension because she is still entertaining Todd. That's her right. That is her husband. But I don't want to hear her crying about this every week when she keeps letting this man circle the block. I have a video. It's pretty new about Funky Dineva and Claudia Jordan. Watch that one. It's about circling the block and the damage that can do. But we have Alexia and Daniel. They meet. Daniel is a life coach that Alexia got off of IG, y'all. Alexia, we're too old to be getting life coaches off of IG. She said that he has written a couple of books. So Alexia, the production showed these books that he had written. Those kind of obvious titles. Nothing against Daniel. He seemed like a perfectly nice young man. He was very handsome. So they have a scene where they're sitting down and having lunch. She's discussing this party. He's discussing how to get away from a narcissist. We know that Narcissus was one of the Greek stories where Narcissus was in love with his own reflection. And I think he drowned because of that. But that's where that comes from. So we have another scene after Alexia and Daniel. We have Stephanie, Kiki, and Larsa. They're at Shoma Group. Stephanie walks in. Stephanie's not going to have a scene without mentioning her Birkin, her Chanel, the private plane, something. And that's fine. We love the luxury of the housewives, but we can see a little more to Stephanie. What I do like, production is giving her a chance to also give her backstory. So in this sit down that they have, Stephanie, Kiki, and Larsa at the Shoma Group, Stephanie is speaking about her sisters. She's in a strange relationship. She has a pair of twin sisters that she hasn't talked to in 4 or 5 years. She hired them to work at her and her husband's company. And Stephanie, we'll see the way that Stephanie talks to people. Some people do not like that. And Stephanie says, excuse me, I need some water. I'm getting hoarse for some reason. Stephanie says that is because she's used to speaking to 80 construction men on a construction site, and she can get kind of rough, and that the sisters didn't like that, and they were upset about that. So they're no longer in touch. Kiki is sharing. We're learning more about Kiki's relationship with her father. Kiki really wants her father to be in her son Shamar's life. Shamar's 19. He has a cute scene later on, y'all. Shamar's 19. He just went to college. So Kiki is doing a great job raising her children. The little girl, Summer, does know the father. They've recently met. So we had a scene last week where they met. They're talking about that. And Larsa and Kiki are listening to Stephanie just kind of lament the estrangement of her two sisters and telling them to not let things fall by the wayside, letting Kiki know, don't let things fall by the wayside with your father. So she tells the viewers that she's so close with her parents that they went on her honeymoon. So of course we get Larsa Pippen. Larsa tried to act so proper, but Larsa might be a closet freak, y'all. Remember Lisa? Was it Lisa Nicole? One of them had a clothing line on Real Houses of Atlanta called Closet Freak. So she tells the viewers her parents went on the honeymoon. Larsa claims you're supposed to swing from the chandeliers. What were the parents doing at the honeymoon? But, the kind of honeymoon they have, I'm sure they weren't in the same room. They probably were on the same resort. So, okay, if that works for her. And she's still close with her parents. So I found that kind of strange. She's close with her parents, estranged from the sisters. Well, that could be. We had a family situation where, yeah, that could be. Answer my own question. So we see them prepping for a hurricane, y'all. There's a hurricane coming through. Adriana is prepping. Lickety split Adriana. We are not seeing enough Adriana. I don't like her being frozen out, y'all. That's the one thing I do not like about this cast. It is so obvious. They've done it on other franchises, but on this franchise, they had always been able to get together, even if they're feuding. But now we have I call the mean girls, Gertie, the beautiful Gertie behind me, call them the mean sorority girls. We have Julia, Alexia, Marisol, and Larsa able to freeze out the ones that they don't want to be around. They're doing it to Gertie and they're doing it to Adriana. So we see Adriana for literally 30 seconds talking about her preparation of the hurricane. I need to see more of her. We have Steve and Marisol prepping for the hurricane. And Marisol, she's so practical. She shows us a bag of chips. That's what she packed. Steve's getting everything ready and she packed a bag of chips. Lisa and Jody are discussing her marital separation agreement. What I didn't like, they're painting this narrative of Jody being controlling. It's mainly coming from Larsa. They have a confessional where Lisa starts to talk about it. Jody interrupts her and is like, wait a minute. And then she says, what? She's doing the doe-eyed deer in headlights thing. He's in charge of everything. She said, he knows more about it than I do. She gives us this long story about Lenny is supposed to be building a home on a property that they had. And that's somewhere along the line that it's not going according to plan. And he has to check in with her or her attorneys. Something about that marital separation agreement. She said Jody knows more about it than she do. So Lisa is also complaining about her relationship with Larsa. We know they're feuding this season. She says Larsa has diarrhea of the mouth and she needs Imodium for her mouth. When Lisa insults like a 12-year-old, which kind of makes me laugh. So she and Larsa are still going at it. Very quickly, we find out that the hurricane has swerved. Thank goodness. Miami dodged a hurricane. Marisol says she manifested it. We know Marisol and Mama Elsa, they used to be able to pray on things and manifest things. But now I'm hearing things. Dr. Nicole was doing a podcast, and we find out that Marisol, it was alleged that she might have been the one that was hiring private eyes. You know how she would always say, I feel things, or so-and-so told me, or Bertie told me. We're finding out that might be a detective. So we get another scene with Alexia and Gertie. They meet. And I told y'all last week, Gertie was at the New York Stock Exchange. So this comes up while, actually that's the picture where she's in the magenta. Gertie was at the New York Stock Exchange, her and Russell. She was ringing the bell for breast cancer. And she said that they have a group text. The ladies were talking about something else. When Gertie brought up the New York Stock Exchange, nobody said, go ahead, Gertie, or wish her well, or anything like that. So they are actively freezing out our sweet Gertie. So we see Alexia addressing her about, you need to fix this with Julia. Her and Gertie go back and forth. Alexia has the nerve to tell Julia she doesn't allow people to speak. This is why people have a hard time talking to her. And then Alexia also has the nerve to kind of, to me, put more of the blame on Gertie as far as what happened with the water throwing when Julia assaulted Gertie with that germy glass of water. So these ladies have changed the narrative amongst them. Gertie says that, yes, she will sit down with Julia, but she's hurt as to what happened. So Alexia says that Gertie needs that heart-to-heart. I didn't hear them address the assault, and I'm kind of troubled by this. I want to see what's going to happen. We see another scene of Alexia, confessional Alexia. She's talking about this narcissist party that she's throwing, this kind of toga party, this Greek theme party. And she is saying that if any of the ladies or not accepting responsibility, that might be the trait of a narcissist. People are throwing this word around a lot. They're throwing knock around a lot because Alexia, of all people, there are women narcissists. For Alexia to use that, she might be one of the ones in the group that is that. She's very self-absorbed. People say that about Lisa, and they say that about Gertie as well, that they're self-absorbed. But Alexia is self-absorbed as well. Okay, here's the scene I was talking about. Kiki takes Shamar and his best friend to lunch. They meet at, look like, excuse me, one of those places where they get to play mini golf or some type adult type games or teen type games. And they're meeting Larsa. So Larsa comes in. Larsa's always dressed, y'all. She's dressed down. She has on jeans or whatever, but she's wearing, the girls are on display. Mind you, she's meeting two teenage boys. They're 19. So Larsa comes in. Kiki's dressed down in a hoodie, but Kiki's so pretty, it doesn't matter what Kiki has on. But again, they're out at this place where they're going to play miniature golf. So she comes in. She said, "Oh, you're so tall." Y'all, Larsa hugged Shamar. She just hugged him. The friend's face, he was beaming. It was almost funny. He was smiling from ear to ear. And when she said, "You're so tall," it's like, okay, Kiki, you better watch Larsa, in my opinion, because Larsa, Marcus Jordan was, well, let me not even go there. Scottie Pippen, who Larsa Pippen was married to, Marcus Jordan is the son of her ex-husband's teammate. And that had been, Larsa act like, I saw on Watch What Happens Live when Andy was bringing it up. There's nothing strange about dating someone decades younger and they're the child of your husband's friend. That was very strange to me. But she's giving Shamar this big hug. So they sit back down. And she did ask him, she said, "Well, what are you studying?" He told her the things that he was into studying. And then she said, "Do you have a girlfriend?" And the friend piped up, "No." And they started laughing. He said, "Why do you have to say it like that?" So that was so cute. Shamar said he's in, you know how you overjoin when you're in college? He's joined 6 groups and he's being hazed in all of them. So they're joking. Kiki's like, "What is this? What is this haze?" Kiki speaks French. She's Haitian. So sometimes her English, when she starts that English as her second language, is kind of funny. So she was like, "Don't scare me like that. If you're being bullied, don't scare me like that." The camera focuses in on Larsa. Larsa's starting to look a lot more like Mama Elsa, y'all. Or Google Jocelyn Wildenstein if you don't know who that is. But she claims she has nothing done. If she doesn't claim it, I'm not going to stop saying that about her. But if she doesn't claim it, she just doesn't claim it. So we see Larsa and Kiki are talking. The situation with Kiki's father comes up again. What I did like that Larsa did, she says, "Well, you should call him. I think you should call him." Because Kiki's worried that since the father and Shamar don't have a relationship, because they weren't speaking at the time when Shamar was born, that the father's not going to call Shamar for his birthday. She wants them to start getting to know each other because Shamar's a young man now. He's 19 years old. And so Larsa says, "We'll call him. Let's call him." So they get on the phone. Kiki's kind of, even though she picked her father up from the airport, they've talked a little. She's a little tongue-tied. She's a little shy with her father. So Larsa gets on. "I'm sitting here with Kiki, sitting here with your daughter." She's saying she's so excited that you're in town. And so he starts to get a little more talkative. And Kiki was happy to have Larsa do that. So I thought that was really sweet. Stephanie gets another business scene, y'all. We're going to show Stephanie as this hard-charging businesswoman. I love the way Stephanie dresses as well. She's dressed really cute. She's discussing her husband's age again. There's a huge age difference. She told us last week he was 50 when they met and she was 26 and they met at a Heat game. So she's saying, but he's the young one. She's the old soul. And she tells us, Larsa went out to dinner with us and she confirmed he's the fun one. He's the young one. Okay, y'all keep putting Larsa out there near your men. But Larsa and them went out together. Larsa said Stephanie isn't allowing him to live his young life. So I thought that was pretty funny. Masood has a scene with Stephanie. He comes in. They have all these massive properties, everybody. They're in the real estate development business. I think she said something like 12,000 units they have built and are getting ready for market or already on the market, something like that. But she showed this beautiful model space. They discussed these 2 puppies from the hurricane. Y'all, when they get into the model space, the 2 puppies that were rescued in the hurricane are in there. And they had kind of torn up the place, number one and number two all over the place. So Stephanie's telling us that Masood loves animals. He has a heart for animals. He even feeds the turtles when they go to St. Bart's. He buys muffins for them. Stop doing that, y'all. Stop feeding wildlife. You're not supposed to do that. She says they are the number one power couple, and there's no balance. And that's not a flex, Stephanie. Y'all got to have some balance. And it's funny, Masood, he's a nice looking guy. If you like that type, he's 50 something now. Stephanie, of course, presents very young because she is. I don't know if Stephanie's 30 yet. Haven't looked it up. But well, she might be because they've been married a few years now. She runs all the businesses. He helps her with it. But he was dressed in this kind of tiny plaid jacket and these sneakers. So he was dressed pretty young. Stephanie is in a gorgeous white pantsuit. I already said I love the way she dressed. And it was kind of not quite sleeveless, but those abbreviated sleeves. She looks really cute. And then her hair is always just so. The little bob turned up at the end. I think I said I'd reserve judgment on Stephanie, and I will. There's something I'm a little upset with Stephanie about, I'll tell you, because I talked about it in one of my Sandra Peace Gen Extra. She was on Watch What Happened Live with Andy, and he asked her what she thought about the whole feud between Gertie and Julia. And Stephanie annoyed me, y'all. Stephanie said, I told Julia that, no, she said, she didn't say it. Stephanie said, I don't know why Gertie wants to hold a grudge. I don't understand it. And I told her that she should try to move on. So I didn't like Julia saying that. Gertie was assaulted, throwing water forcefully at someone, and you drank out of the water. Gertie is a cancer survivor. Julia, anyone, but particularly Julia, full of germs. She's always around farm animals. She threw germ-filled water into Gertie's face. Gertie has been through surgeries. She has upcoming surgeries. We shouldn't have to keep explaining this to these people. And for Andy to get over there and try to make light of it. Andy's good for that. Y'all, I'm going to BravoCon. I want to come up with some type question related to the treatment of certain housewives that they don't do anything about. And it hurts me. I don't understand it. I understand it because I've seen it in real life, but this is supposed to be fun and entertainment, and someone should not be assaulted on their job for just talking when your recourse would be Julia could talk back if she could do it, but she's boring. She can't read, and she's violent now as well. And the other ladies are trying to defend her. So Julia and Gertie get this awkward sit down. Gertie walks in dressed like she is going to a nightclub, y'all. It was so funny because she even told the guy, the concierge at the front, she said, am I dressed appropriately? She's doing this little turn. She is in this black lace. She looked like she could have been going to a Beyonce show or something, honestly. But the hair is beautiful. She's beautiful. He was like, it's beautiful. It's perfect. It was daytime. He let Gertie in daytime in her fishnets. She said she had her fishnets on. So Gertie looks good. Julia looked pretty. She just had a sour face on, very sour face. So they start talking. They both regret what happened, even though Julia's the only one that assaulted someone. I'm a broken record on this because that's what happened. Julia says that she is sorry that they got to that place. That is not who we are. She's equating Gertie talking to her being violent. So she's doing that gaslighting thing. Is there anything you want to apologize to me for? Gertie says, well, I'm sorry of the way I said things, because Julia is saying, you mentioned Martina and you insinuated that I'm not a good wife to Martina. And Gertie's like, I didn't insinuate. I didn't say that at all. She said, I said after you threw water at me, that's when I said that you went and you got a facelift. And Julia, still gaslighting Gertie, says, I told you this as my friend and you betrayed my trust. So I don't feel like Gertie betrayed her trust. Gertie did say, well, I was hurt because that was after you threw water in my face. And then that's when I said, you left Martina to go get a facelift, which is what happened. And this cast, Larsa doesn't admit to any work. Alexia does not like to talk about work. Marisol talks a little bit about the work. But Julia, when you show up, every single one of these ladies know that you've had work done, because you look a lot younger. You still don't look as young as Gertie or Kiki, but they know you've had work done. Gertie didn't have to tell them. She didn't lie on you. You did have work done. So Julia is still angry. Gertie is still hurt. Confessional Gertie's telling us that they have to take baby steps. And she's trying to get Julia to understand how she hurt her. Julia got this crazy smile. Do you like me, Gertie? You know, when she starts getting unhinged, that's what she said. In the middle of while Gertie was speaking, do you like me? And Gertie said, I have to get this out because she's still expressing her hurt. Julia has already, in my opinion, been kind of gassed out by the other ladies. Don't apologize, don't admit. We saw Larsa say it that night when Julia, after she had assaulted Gertie, I want to take my mic off. I want to leave. She's crying. And Larsa's like, you didn't do anything. Don't take your mic off. Don't leave. Because Larsa's shameless and she's not going to miss the cameras. So that's what they're advising Julia to do. Y'all, I think this could be a scenario where this could be Julia's last season. We could get Julia out of here. Martina's not bringing anything. Martina, to me, is an introvert. She doesn't want to shoot. She's doing this because she loves Julia. She loves her wife. She doesn't mind Julia being on camera. Martina doesn't want to do it. But Martina is the clout. For some people, she's the personality. Not to me. I don't like the lady. I've heard enough of her over the years. I think something about Martina. She used to talk slick about the Williams sisters. She got Alphabet City up in arms talking crazy about trans women. Martina she's problematic. And now these two little boys, these two little brothers, I believe Haitian brothers, I believe, that they've adopted, the 1 and 3-year-old, they're not going to be able to show them. Julia, in my opinion, a lot of that was done for a storyline or to extend where Martina would have to support her, in my opinion, because Julia has adult children now. They're out of the house. And I don't put anything past Julia. So I hope that Gertie realizes no matter what kind of apology Julia gives her, she is not a friend. Do not let this lady come back into your life in that way. Because at one point, I think they were close. When Julia was the quirky farmer's, wife or whatever, Julia was friends with Adriana. She was friends with Gertie. And the mean girls, the cool girls, Marisol, Larsa, Alexia, they didn't like Julia. They still don't like her. They've weaponized her against the ladies that they don't like. And she's foolish enough to fall for it. But this could be her last season, so I don't have to keep analyzing her. And I think when she's drunk or she's had been in the AC, allegedly, and in my opinion, or whatever it is that gets her amped up, then she's lunging and she's tossing water. And we don't want to see that over here. When Larsa and Lisa get into it, even when Kiki and Lisa got into it, and I didn't like Lisa trying to act like that Kiki was getting aggressive because she wasn't. Kiki was animated, and rightfully so, but nobody lay hands, throw water, any of that stuff. So we see Alexia greet her life coach for the Greek theme party. Separately, there is a sprinter. I'm going to put this scene up. This sprinter, everybody, they show up and Lisa, everyone's dressed in white. Lisa, I will just tell you because it's already a preview. Lisa showed up call time. Well, I don't know what call time was. All the ladies were on the sprinter at noon, so 12 p.m. Lisa shows up at 2:30. Stephanie has a fit. Stephanie goes off. All right, let me share this with you. I hope that's the scene. Let me see if that is the scene. Yeah, it is.
I don't even know this girl. Like, she's new to the group, and don't talk to me like that. You don't need to be their mouthpiece. These are my friends.
Hey, Lisa, we've been here since 12 o'clock.
Larsa, we are not talking also right now. We are not talking right now. We are not talking right now. How do you start off with somebody like this? Stop.
Lisa, how do you start off being 2 hours late with somebody you don't know?
Do not ever put your hand in front of my face or tell me what I need to discuss with my friends.
I wasn't putting my hand in
Yes, you did. You did.
I went like this. And my hand doesn't even go. I'm super short. Like, my hands aren't even that long. Like, look at this. It's like right over here.
It's not funny either.
I'm not trying to be funny,
Okay.
guys. Your friends all think you're rude, Lisa.
I think you're rude.
Stephanie said what we all wanted to say. For how long have we known her? 13 years now? Monkey's always late. Someone had to just be like, girl,
Don't ever talk to me like that again. This is bullshit. I don't even know this girl. Like, she's new to the group, and don't talk to me like that. You don't need to be their mouthpiece. These are my friends.
Hey, Lisa, we've been here since 12 o'clock.
Larsa, we are not talking also right now. We are not talking right now. We are not talking right now. How do you start off with somebody like this? Stop.
Lisa, how do you start off being 2 hours late with somebody you don't
it's
know?
coming through, so I'm gonna stop
Ever
it.
put your kid.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. All right, thank you, everybody. That actually is the scene where Lisa and the new young lady Stephanie get into it, because we see Marisol saying monkey's always late. She calls Lisa monkey. It's, you know, Lisa's like their little pet. She's the youngest. She's little. She's cute. They call her monkey. So she is late all the time. But she shows up. This is the first event her and Stephanie have been to together. She showed up to the Sprinter 2 hours late. Lisa didn't apologize, nothing. The rest of the ladies usually just swallow it. Stephanie being new, we see Stephanie being hard charging and about her time, and Stephanie confronts her. And then Lisa does that thing where she's like, don't talk to me like that. Hello, Cece. Thank you for coming in. Hello, dear Yvette. Thank you so much. So Lisa tries to say, don't talk to me like that. And Stephanie is just giving it to her. And Lisa's taking offense at the way Stephanie's talking to her, but not apologizing or acknowledging that she showed up over 2 hours late to an event. But the ladies, I blame them, because then Larsa said something, someone else tried to pipe up, but Lisa has been doing this for years and they've never checked her. She's been allowed to do this. They have a reunion where Andy checked her. He was like, don't come in laughing and smiling. You are late, super late. And the other people are upset. Your mood changes. A 2-hour wait? That's ridiculous. Yes, Cece, why won't the Sprinter van just leave the late ladies? They won't get paid to be in scenes that they're left behind. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Does she have a different call time? Are they setting up conflict? None of that has to be true. You don't have to set up conflict. These ladies, they have their little issues. They're going to have conflict. If Lisa is indeed 2 hours late, 2.5 hours late, they should have left her. After 15 minutes, they should have left her standing there. They had a scene, might have been last season or the one before. Dr. Nicole, my favorite lady on this show, her and Gertie. Dr. Nicole's not going to be back. I found out that she decided not to return. You know, she had her baby. She's the other one, which she has a private jet. Lisa showed up hours and hours late for the private jet. And they got into an argument on the jet. Jerry Vet said, it's the new chick. I'm not feeling her. You're not feeling Stephanie? I'm trying to reserve judgment on Stephanie. I see what Bravo's trying to do. Show this money, 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 money thing with her and her cool husband, even though he's older than her and she's this hard-charging lady. But when she let us know that she's estranged from her 2 sisters, and then she mentioned, I bought one a Range Rover and the other a Mini Cooper. If you cuss these girls out and not talking to them right, just because they are employees of yours, in addition to being your sisters, and now they don't talk to you, there's some type of personality flaw that we're not seeing from Stephanie. I've heard the rumors about her now. She says she met him at a Heat game, but the people say that, some of the people say, Mama Joyce's streets, the Miami streets in this case, that this man was already married, that his wife was instrumental in building their business. Stephanie's now bragging about running the business, but allegedly she was the wife's assistant at some point in time. So Stephanie, we hope that that's not true. So on with Cece, we should just leave these late ladies and then they won't get paid. And I promise you, once Lisa misses out on that camera time or her check, she'll learn to show up on time. So if waiting is a problem, and it is, especially 2 hours, I say 20 minutes top, maybe 30, depending, if they can prove traffic or something like that. So if they show up, they look pretty for this. It's not a toga party, but that's how they're dressed. Adriana has a royal blue on. Larsa has on gold. That looks good against Larsa's skin too. Kiki is in a green. Everyone else is in white. Stephanie had told us that her pet peeves are being late and discussing, she said, penises. I'll say the male anatomy. I already said it, but the male anatomy. Confessional Kiki says she's in the wrong group. And then she starts saying it time and time and time and time and time again. Kiki can be funny, but she can also be kind of graphic and a little crude. But Kiki still makes me laugh, even though I'm still upset with her for not standing with her sister Gertie. She didn't stand with her when she got the water thrown in her face. She did offer her, she said, they want us to leave. And she was speaking to her in patois. She was speaking to her in French. So she was trying to be a sister to her, but Kiki didn't do enough. But I'm not that mad at Kiki. Kiki still makes me smile. So Lisa's still doing it. You don't know me to talk about me like that thing. And Julia is acting so corny, y'all. Julia is so awkward and corny. Please let this be her last season. She's in a confessional. eating popcorn. Oh, that's going to be a popcorn show. She is so fake this season. She's not herself. That whole extra thing, I think she tried to take on Gertie's personality. Because Gertie, people call her extra, but it's natural to her. Kiki, that's natural to her. What Julia is doing is an effect. It's fake. It's not real. Oh, a popcorn show. You remember when Shamia did that on Real Housewives of Atlanta? And we call Shamia extra. Shamia's been extra all season. Started out as my favorite housewife and is kind of careened to not the bottom, but not my favorite. But yeah, Julia's doing that fake thing. So Larsa is looking bug-eyed. I think she said a thing or two to Lisa. Kiki is laughing at Stephanie and Lisa arguing back and forth. Dear Vet says she don't like her. Oh yeah, you said yes, I like my Kiki. Yeah, I like my Kiki too. This franchise, they really do need these two ladies, but I'm talking about Gertie and Kiki. The OGs, they're gonna have to step it up. Alexia's gonna have to give us more than Todd. Maddie Saul, I'm hearing, is a friend of, so she doesn't hold a mojito or whatever they're holding. Okay. Basically, that's the end of it. And Lisa's still doing this. You don't know me. This girl don't know me to talk to me like that. Confessional Lisa is saying that. Confessional Lisa's tough, but also confessional Lisa's no punk in person with her little stuff. But she was dead wrong. You can't argue when you're dead wrong. 2 hours late, you're dead wrong. Oh, we're half hour in, y'all. So that's a complete review. A little bit of a rant. I'm going to rant on Gertie and Julia until that situation is made right. But I'm afraid it won't be made right. I'm just scared it won't be. So we have a preview of Stephanie with her parents discussing the sisters' estrangement. Stephanie tells us that her sisters do love her. Of course they love you, Stephanie. They just don't like you. She said during the hurricane, the sisters reached out. Is everybody okay? Is everybody okay? And Stephanie was happy about it. And then when she started trying to call them, they ghosted her again. So they still not talking to you, Stephanie. You're alive, but they want you over there. So I know Stephanie talk crazy. We see her talking crazy. This is her second episode. Yeah, and she's already talking crazy. So we see the life coach that Alexia brought addressing Lisa. And Lisa says, I'm leaving this BS party. So this is another event that Lisa storms out of, y'all. So that's next week. That's going to be pretty funny. I'll see if there are any new comments. I feel the same as Jared. I'm not feeling the new chick either, but I'm trying to reserve judgment so I don't go too hard on Stephanie in the review. And we both agree we like Kiki. I want to thank my moderator, Cece, for coming in. I appreciate you very much. I do. Because moderators they just keep their eye on the chat and they make sure things are good. But they're not obligated to be here. They're not paid to do anything. So I really appreciate that. But that is the Real Housewives of Miami, the recap, slight rant, season 7, episode 5. It was Goddesses of Miami because of how they were dressed. So it was an okay episode. I'd give it an 8, I'd say, because every sit down that we needed to see, we saw, even though to me, many of the situations were not resolved, particularly Gertie and Julia. Julia's going to have to come with more, but I think she's been assured by the ladies, we got your back. Gertie's been too much. Somebody's been going to take care of Gertie. And they think that what they did was okay. So I don't want to wait to the reunion to see if this is really addressed. And I do hope this is Gertie's last season. Do I think Stephanie will turn on Larsa? I could see that happening because, Larsa likes to be the HBIC. And Larsa has shown no loyalty to anybody. You remember when Gertie and Larsa used to be close and they would take up for each other? But when Larsa Gertie shared her cancer with Larsa, told her not to tell anybody. Larsa got right on the phone and started telling people. Larsa is now trying to paint Lisa's boyfriend. She claimed they were close. Now she's trying to paint Jody as something. He may or may not be. We don't know. So I do think Stephanie will turn on Larsa if she thinks that Larsa is in with the other group, the Mean Girls. Like I said, Stephanie was on Watch What Happened Live. I didn't like what she had to say about Gertie wanting to hold a grudge and that she should try to get over it. I didn't like that. But I saw her and Gertie at an event, and it seemed that they were pretty close. So if Stephanie is aligned with Gertie and Kiki, Stephanie is not going to be in the alignment also with Larsa and the other Mean Girls. Because I think that Larsa, Alexia, Maddie Saul, they are their own group. And they're using dumb, boring Julia as they're weaponizing her against the ladies they don't like. So yeah, I could see that. Yeah, we do. We have to keep watching. This is a pretty good season. It's worth watching. I like Real Housewives of Miami. It's still like the only dark thing is this water toss because it's assault and they're acting like it's no big deal. But it's Julia's germ-filled water. And Gertie was just talking. I want to see them verbally spar. That's what we're here for. So we'll keep watching. Dear Yvette, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. I appreciate it. And everybody have a great rest of the day. Happy Friday. And enjoy the weekend if I don't talk to you before the end of it. Bye.